Welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast episode with me, Caroline from itstimeforme.ie. Today I am delighted to have the lovely Niamh Hogan with me. Niamh is the creator and CEO of Holosie, which is a luxurious plant-based aromatherapy skincare brand handmade in Wexford in Ireland. Niamh launched Holos 3.5 years ago after 15 years as a natural health therapist. Last year, after securing investment from Enterprise Ireland and Dragon's Den investor Eleanor McAvoy. Niamh plans on launching Holos on foreign markets this year and has already started to export to the UK. Niamh believes in healthy, holistic lifestyles, and Holos Skincare is an extension of this ethos. As she says, even what you put on your skin has an effect on your well-being, so choose well. So welcome, Niamh. Thanks a million for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Caroline.
I'm very excited to chat to you about your fantastic skincare range. So welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast episode with me, Caroline from itstimeforme.ie. Today I am delighted to have the lovely Niamh Hogan with me. Niamh is the creator and CEO of Holosie, which is a luxurious plant-based aromatherapy skincare brand handmade in Wexford in Ireland. Niamh launched Holos 3.5 years ago after 15 years as a natural health therapist. Last year, after securing investment from Enterprise Ireland and Dragon's Den investor Eleanor McAvoy. Niamh plans on launching Holos on foreign markets this year and has already started to export to the UK. Niamh believes in healthy, holistic lifestyles and Holos. So welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast episode with me, Caroline from itstimeforme.ie. So welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast episode with me, Caroline from itstimeforme. So welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast episode with me, Caroline from itstimeforme.ie. Today I am delighted to have the lovely Niamh Hogan with me. Niamh is the creator and CEO of Holosie, which is a luxurious plant-based aromatherapy skincare brand handmade in Wexford in Ireland. Niamh launched Holos 3.5 years ago after 15 years as a natural health therapist. Last year, after securing investment from Enterprise Ireland and Dragon's Den investor Eleanor McAvoy. Niamh plans on launching Holos on foreign markets this year and has already started to export to the UK. Niamh believes in healthy, holistic lifestyles, and Holos Skincare is an extension of this ethos. As she says, even what you put on your skin has an effect on your well-being, so choose well. So welcome, Niamh. Thanks a million for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Caroline.
I'm very excited to chat to you about your fantastic skincare range and all things holistic, as I have a huge interest in living a holistic lifestyle myself and the use of natural products for skincare and otherwise. So to begin, could you just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, how you came to create your fantastic products and develop such a great company?
Okay, so I suppose I always had an interest in health after I did my degree in UCD. I did it in English and linguistics, and then I moved to Toronto. And when I was in Toronto, I was launched into this wonderful world I hadn't experienced before, and it was the world of natural health, or alternative health as some people call it, or complementary health, or whatever. I worked in a vegan restaurant. I started doing yoga, going to the gym, and my life kind of took on a whole new sort of direction. And from that time, I was 22, I just got really interested in anything to do with health and well-being. And when I came back to Ireland, I went into restaurant management because I had been working in a restaurant. And then when I was 27, literally one day, I was in my office and I went, that's it, I can't do this anymore. I rang one of the directors and said, can you come down to my office? I'm handing in my notice. I can't do this anymore. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. And the next day, I had just signed up for a full-time holistic health course for 2 years, and that was it then. So since then, it's just kind of spiraled. I suppose I was a therapist then, I've been a therapist for 15 years. I was practicing for 13 of those, and it was out of that then came the skincare. So I've always, I suppose, come at health from loads of different angles. So I would have done massage, reflexology, aromatherapy, exercise, fitness, meditation, yoga. And when a client came to me, I always looked at them and took bits from all the different things I've learned to create a good treatment plan for them. And then in that, I was always making up blends of oils and essential oils for them as well. And that's where Holos came from then. So the blends of oils that we use in Holos skincare are my original blends I used on my clients in the holistic health clinic.
Wow.
So that's how we got to where we are today.
That sounds like a really great journey to get to there. And before we talk about the skincare, just a few things you mentioned there, making the decision at 27 to just say, I can't do this anymore. How did it feel to, one, make that decision, and then two, actually go and do something about it? Because I think a lot of us have these desires and passions, or to do something else. We may not know what that path is, but can never really make that decision to try.
Yeah, well, I suppose I don't know. I've just always been that sort of person that's like, right, I've got an idea, I'm going to do it, and I will never do something that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from, I suppose, just always been immersed in that kind of lifestyle. You know, there's no point in being unhappy, and I suppose it really wasn't a difficult decision. I knew I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. I knew that I couldn't see a future in it.
Yeah.
And it was literally, once I made the decision, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a tough 2 years. I was in college full time, and I worked full time as well.
Yeah.
So when I wasn't in college, I was in a restaurant working at night, at the weekends. You know, it was full on, but I loved it. And I knew that what I was doing was getting me to where I wanted to be, and I loved being a therapist. And it just, you know, that had to end, obviously, because Holos skincare. And that was another step for me, to kind of go, right, the therapy stuff is over. I'm starting a skincare brand.
Yeah.
It was like starting from scratch all over again. And I mean, I only did that 3.5 years ago. So I'm 41 now, so God knows what else.
Yeah, which is brilliant, and it's great to see someone so determined. And I think making those decisions are so important for us, but also, like you said, if things weren't making you happy, and I think that's something that, you know, people want to have a sense of happiness, and that you're following a path that you feel is actually right for you.
Yeah.
You know, which would be something I would be really big on in terms of working with clients. You know, when some people say, I don't know what my purpose is, and I know it sounds really simplistic, but I'll say, what makes you happy, what makes you joyful, you know, that's where you start, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. I love that story, it's brilliant. So moving back to Holos, and to some of your products as well, what are the benefits of natural skincare, and like, why do you feel it is so important?
Well, I suppose our products have they have two functions. One for the skin, and the other for the well-being. For the skin, because they're plant-based, they're super absorbent. So you are getting the ingredients absorbed right into the skin, and those ingredients hold loads of nutrients naturally in them. So you're getting all your vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, antioxidants that are held naturally in the ingredients, delivered right into the skin. And those ingredients are anti-aging. They just protect the skin against the signs of aging. They're full of, you know, antioxidants that fight off free radicals. So they're really, really. It's like eating your vegetables when you're growing up. That's what it's like. So it's like just putting good ingredients on your skin that actually has a benefit on your skin and the health of your skin. And then the other end is that because we use high levels of essential oils, essential oils, their molecules are tiny enough to absorb into the bloodstream. So they have, on long-term use, they have a benefit on the well-being. So you know, so it's twofold. So I don't think people understand the difference between, say, you know, a plant-based skincare product and something that you would buy in the supermarket. Or even some of the pharmacies. That, you know, those products are mineral-based, they sit on your skin, they don't contribute anything to the health of your skin. Whereas plants, they will absorb, and they will add, you know, nutrition, and they will create better, healthier skin. So that's really what the benefits are.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I know for me, I've struggled with my skin since I was quite young. Um, and recently I started using lemon essential oil just on my wrists and at the back of my ears,
Yeah,
just as a nice smell more than using perfume. But what I
yeah,
found is, because I would have a bit of rosacea, it actually took down the redness of
yeah,
my skin just from putting it, like you said, it's going right through into the skin and being absorbed.
yeah.
Um, and what products would you have that are your best selling products or ones that people buy time and time again?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's one standout one that is our hero product that
Yeah,
everybody absolutely loves. It's our Love Your Skin anti-aging facial oil,
yeah,
and it's 100% natural. It's made with argan oil and has four essential oils in there. And what it does is it absorbs into the skin, plumps it up. It adds good fats to the skin. So as we get older, we lose fat from the skin. So it adds
okay,
good fats, plumps the skin, smooths out fine lines, and then
okay,
it also locks the water in. The water can't escape through it. And then it also treats things like blemishes,
okay,
pigmentation,
yeah,
um, fine lines, things like that. And I mean, we just did a kind of customer research thing on that product, and I
mm,
haven't got the full results yet, but we
yeah,
got a couple of key results out the other day, and we got a statistic of 82% of the people that used the product
mm,
saw noticeable changes in their skin. So we're absolutely
amazing.
thrilled.
Yeah, that is such a high
Because
percentage.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it's great because we were getting loads of feedback, and I just wanted to quantify it. So we did a huge big study,
yeah,
and we spoke to, I think it was 180 people,
wow,
and out of that 82% saw noticeable changes, and 95% of people will continue to use it. So it's a really good, really good feedback for us. So I'd
yeah,
tell everyone, if there's one product you should
yeah,
try,
yeah.
is the Love Your Skin anti-aging facial oil.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. So I hope everybody goes and checks that out now. So as we were talking about skin,
Yeah.
as well, I wanted to talk about also the other aspects of like holistic
Mm.
lifestyle. So when I was younger, my granny worked with aromatherapy oils. She did counselling. So for me, back in the 80s, she was quite ahead of her time, let's say.
Yeah.
And she used to always help me with my skin, and she used to make me up all these potions. Now, when I was 12, 13, I didn't take them seriously enough. They
Yeah.
actually worked, and I wish now to this day she was here that she could make them up for me. Um, but and I probably used them and they worked, and then I didn't use them, and then obviously it did, my skin would break out again. But what she did tell me that stuck with me was the importance of what's going into my body, onto the skin, but also what's happening in ourselves emotionally in terms of stress or pressures. What's your opinion on this in terms of our overall well-being, I should say?
Yeah, well, I think, look, it, it's not enough to, say I go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not enough to say, well, yes, I drink loads of water. I think for really, for overall health, happiness, well-being,
Yeah.
you need to be looking at it from all angles. And it's not about being, strict with yourself about
Mm-hmm.
everything, and I'm not eating this and I'm not eating that, and I don't eat gluten, or I don't
Yeah.
eat it. It's about finding what works for you, the
Yeah.
happy medium.
Yeah.
And I suppose, yes, exercise comes into that. What you eat comes into that. Do you enjoy your job? Do you take downtime? What products are you putting on your skin? What products are you using in your home?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you hanging out with? Are the
Yeah.
people you hang out with positive? Are they, lifting you up, or are they putting you down? There's just, it's not just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge thing in Ireland, I see, with people who slam it out in the gym and then they pig it out on awful food, and it's
Yeah.
like that there's a huge imbalance there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're better off to, do your best to be nice and healthy all the time. Yeah, have a chocolate bar every now and then, big
Yeah.
deal, that's fine. Have a glass of wine, that's fine if it makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
But try to do, find a happy medium with everything.
Yeah.
And that's where you find your true well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. I think balance is such an important thing. And like you said, it's about all aspects of our life.
Yeah.
Just because you eat well or go to the gym, you might have bad relationships, a bad job. Those kind of
Mm.
things are going to affect you even more, maybe like in causing your stress. So yeah, I love that ethos, and I think that's something that it can be hard to do sometimes. And I feel people
Absolutely.
start and say it seems like a mountain. So people
Yeah.
say, well, I'm not going to bother at all. I'll just let everything. It's easy
Yeah.
to stay in our comfort zones and easy for
Mm.
things to be like that. So for me, when we're talking about that, at its time for me.ie, I've tried to create a place where people can come away from the busyness of life and put that energy and focus back into themselves. And that's why, I wanted to interview someone like yourself who's looking at all angles of ourselves and can give some advice to the listeners. But for people who say they don't have enough time or they're really, really busy, which is something I hear a lot. And I know we're all busy, I'm really busy too, but it's about trying to create a new self care practice, I suppose.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice on where to start with that or how to implement it?
Yeah, like I think it's not. I think people sort of they start to panic and they go, okay, I need to do all this now,
Yeah,
and it doesn't work like that. It's doing small things over a long period of time.
yeah,
So like something as simple as okay, and it can be about making a little plan. It can be something simple as okay, this week I'm going to drink more water. I'm
mm-hmm.
going to bring a 2 liter bottle of water to work,
Yeah,
and it's going to be gone by the end of the day. So,
right.
and then the following week it could be okay, this week I'm going to add to that, I'm going to go out for a walk every day.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's 15 minutes, or even if it's a walk 3 times a week or whatever, bit by bit. And
Yeah,
so it's not to try and do everything at once, because you'll do everything at once and you'll do it for a week and then you'll be exhausted and you'll just give it all up and you'll feel even worse than you were at the beginning. So
yeah,
it's setting out an achievable plan. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. I struggled for the first 3 years of
mm-hmm.
business trying to get the work-life balance. And there is no such thing as work-life balance. If you're working for yourself, the majority of your time is going to be taken up with work, but there comes a point where you have to be strict with yourself and you have to go, you know what, my health is suffering here.
Mm-hmm.
So in January, I decided that's it. I love exercise. It's been suffering because I've been working all the time. And since January, I've managed to stay on track and, exercise 3, 4 times a week. And it's like, this is important. I'm not working right now because this is really important. And it is, you have to, there's willpower involved in it, and you
Yeah,
have to be strict with yourself. You have to timetable it in like
mm-hmm.
you do all the other things.
Yeah,
But I would say start simple. If you're feeling absolutely lost, start with the simple things. And when you win them,
mm-hmm.
then it gives you the confidence to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the questions I was going to ask because I know, like, from everything you're doing, I can only imagine how busy you are. So it was great for you to talk about what you've done to bring, like you just said, I'm going to start getting my exercise levels back up and
Yeah.
work on that. When you have times that maybe, do you have times, or maybe you've got it down to a fine T now at the moment, but that the busyness might take over again, and then how do you bring yourself
Yeah.
back to that point?
So I suppose I allow myself those times,
Okay.
and I don't feel bad about them and don't
Yeah.
feel guilty about them, but I know there's a timeline on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I know that I have a huge deadline, or I just need to get something over the line, I will set aside the time and go, right, I need to do this for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I know that at the end of 2 weeks, it's going to be done and I can go back to my routine that works for me. So it's you need to be able to forgive yourself and not feel guilty about those times where you can't do those things. I mean, I luckily, I do eat very well.
Yeah.
I am healthy. The only real thing that was suffering for me was, I suppose, exercise and actual downtime where I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I'm the sort of person that wants to be busy all the time anyway, so I don't mind. I'll rarely sit quietly.
Okay.
but yeah, it's just about, like, you have to go easy on yourself.
Yeah.
It's that sometimes the plan just doesn't work out. But always have in mind that you're going to get back to that plan and have a timeline on when you're getting back to that plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the core beliefs at Holos, and I saw this, is prevention is better than cure. So in kind of line with what we were talking about there, any advice for the listeners on how we can try, I suppose, and get in front of things that might occur in our bodies, like in terms of tuning in and figuring out what's going on in ourselves, either emotionally or physically, and what are the benefits from trying to prevent things happening before they get to a bad place?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's we all have this thing called instinct or gut or intuition or whatever you want to call it. And it's really about listening to that. We all know when things are not right.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of look into that and ask questions about that. I mean, on a basic level, prevention being better than cure is, the food you eat. That's a really, really basic one. And I think if you don't have a clue about that, find out, go to a nutritionalist, or even online, there's so much information, and things like I come across all the time, people who have digestive problems who just accept them as normal. That isn't normal. So take the bull by the horns before that turns into an ulcer, or before that turns into IBS or whatever. Don't just accept that this is the way it, just this is the way it is.
Okay.
Seek help, because there is people out there to help you. Prevention, there's so many, sometimes you can do all the things in the world and you can still get sick, but for the most part, diet, exercise, downtime, what you do for those 40 hours a week, whether it's work or whatever it is, does it make you happy? The people you hang out with, toxic people can make you unwell. All those things that, it's about, making choices and taking your control back, and just not accepting if things are not quite the way they should be. Now, some people don't have the luxury of that. There are people having to put up with awful things, and having to look after really sick people, and there's pressure on and stuff, but try to look at all the things around that to make your life as more wholesome. I don't want to simplify all this. It can be hard work, but start really simple. Like I always say to people, start with just drinking water, and it is so easy, and it's so beneficial, and you feel great after it. And then once you get one thing, it gives you the confidence for the next. So I don't know if that answers your question. I'm rambling on there.
Yeah, no, I really do. One of the things I would find myself working with clients is that people, who do, like you were saying, have a lot going on in their life and a lot of struggle, and they'll come for sessions and they might feel great immediately after that, or for a few days, and then they go back to their normal circumstances and mightn't be able to integrate any of the, the knowledge they might have got, or any of the guidance. And I think giving that advice of starting simple, I think, is brilliant, and it makes you feel like you're progressing as well. If you manage to drink 2 litres of water in work every week, that's brilliant, and that's like nearly a little goal done. So I think that advice is fantastic, and you weren't waffling on at all. It was really good to hear. And when you worked as a natural health therapist, and you practiced for 13 years, you said, and we would encompass all aspects of the whole self when we're doing natural health therapy. Why do you feel it's important for people to take that holistic approach? Going back to your skincare as well, like for more of the complementary side of things, how can that be beneficial as well?
Well, I suppose it's the whole idea of, I suppose, not waiting till things go wrong. That's why I suppose it's important. Just to go back to
so we've talked extensively about our exercise and our diet and all of those different things, but moving more into the natural side of things, like natural skincare or natural foods and things like that. Why is that so important for us, instead of saying you know, like some people might want to lose weight and they might join, I have a big thing against this, some diet places, and they'll promote losing weight, but really bad foods to do that, you know, that's got no fat in it. So I'm just wanting to talk.
Well, it's just like it's important for every aspect. It's important physically, for our strength and for our heart and our lungs and our organs. It's important for our happiness and how we feel. I mean, when you're healthy, when you're feeling well, when you feel good, you look good. Everything is so connected. It's really hard to kind of pin it down. It's just everything is connected, and I think until you're kind of living that life, you don't realize how you felt before. It's like, oh God, like how did I? When I was younger, and it was like hangovers every day. It's like, how did I live like that? I just felt horrible. I feel so good now. It's good for, it's your body, your mind, preventing disease. And I think there is even, the people, even though it's getting better, people are still not making the connection with what you put in your body having an effect on your health, we're just bombarded with stuff in the supermarket. I would say there's probably half an aisle that I visit now. It's just so full of absolute rubbish, and it's all brightly packaged and looks lovely, and I'm a sucker for packaging myself, but but I think it's really just down to education as well. You need to educate yourself. And I think if you want to feel good, if you want to look good, then you have to be healthy, and you have to look at it from all angles. You have to look at your food, your exercise, and all those things I've said already. And look, sometimes you can be the healthiest person in the world and get sick. That happens, but there's less chance of it happening if you look after yourself.
And I think, like you said, education's a huge piece. It's huge, and taking individual responsibility to say, how can I feel better? Because there's so many resources and so much information out there, and I think it's really important for us to do that. And sometimes, because we don't have that knowledge, we mightn't know where to start. And I think, like you're saying, just take that first step.
And I think, like you said earlier about different, diets and different things, like we are bombarded with stuff. And like one day, like butter is bad for you, and the next day it's good for you. And, you have to, gluten's bad, but then it's like, well, actually, no, it's fine. And people are confused. And, I think I think people need to start looking at more about, well, how do I feel? And I'm not feeling good today. So what did I do today that, has made me feel this way? Like, I'm really big on food diaries and things. And, I always say to people, like, if they're feeling unwell, I'm like, okay, keep a diary. What did you eat? What did you drink? What did you do? Who did you see? Everything. Put it in there and see if there's a pattern. And, like, start taking control yourself. Because, like, you could be blue in the face trying to figure out what to do, reading the newest diet and the newest product or the newest superfood, and you can't do it all. And just keep it really simple and look into yourself and see what's making me feel this way. How can I make myself feel better? And it doesn't matter about anybody else, because what works for me mightn't work for someone else. So it's finding your own little piece. So looking inward instead of outward to figure out what's going on. It's huge in so many ways. Niamh, it was an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thanks so much. So I've written down so many things you said for advice, even from myself. I really appreciate it. It was a really interesting conversation. You can find out more about Niamh over at www.holos.ie, and do check out the 100% natural Love Your Skin facial oil. I've used it myself and it's fabulous. And again, thank you, Niamh. This was a really, really good conversation, and I know the listeners will benefit a lot.